Do you need to dedicate consistent hours to play in Project Aurora? Or will there be a way to come and go and interact with the world? This is going to be more of kind of like multiple campaigns ran in the same exact living, breathing world. There may be times and occasions where, you know, your character might not be able to make it. Like, you maybe real life happens and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna use a random person in chat. Proteum Joey. Proteum Joey's character is not there because, you know, Proteum Joey had a IRL emergency. They couldn't make it. They couldn't appear. I'm going to introduce and pitch the idea of the Keeper. This is an idea that I brought, or that was brought up to me by XP to Level 3 in a video that they made, where they would have an individual who basically, whenever a player couldn't make it, this mass individual, this plague doctor person, they would approach, they would just come to collect the player's character, and they would just take them into a random portal or whatever they do, and then they would vanish and disappear. No one would ever ask questions about the Keeper because they would always be too scared to ask questions about the Keeper. It's like, oh man, oh shoot, that's the Keeper. Don't ask questions about the Keeper. Just let him do his thing. Just let him do his thing, and we're gonna keep on going, right? And that was just a simple way to basically be able to take players in and out of games whenever they can't make it or they can't attend to sessions because of IRL stuff or whatever may happen, and it would just be simple or simplistic as that. It's been a huge help to be able to do it in the likes of running our persistent universe in the past, and it's a lot easier to do rather than just coming up with a BS reason on why their character isn't going to participate in the dungeon, or why their character is going to be sleeping for like 12 hours straight, or why their character whose backstory is heavily dependent on this one certain event, why they're not here in this moment in time. The Keeper is able to solve all those reasons very easily, and no one really questions it. It's just a sort of a player to DM sort of agreement where it's like, okay, this is the reason why this is happening, and boom, we go from there, right? So that's what we're going to be doing when it comes to like people who can't necessarily make it to sessions pretty frequently. But besides that, when I guess we think of in the sort of longer scale of Project Aurora, when we're actually going to be running full-fledged campaigns, it's not going to be a thing where it's you know, a certain time, like, okay, everybody a part of Project Aurora is going to be on from 8 p.m. to like 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. at night. It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be more so just you're in a group, you're in your dedicated campaign, you have probably your dedicated DM, and you know, you just show up every single week to play some D&D. It's going to be very, very simplistic. A lot of the things in Project Aurora, a lot of people are going to overcomplicate because of just the scale of the project. Trust me, we're thinking very simplistically. We're thinking smarter, not harder. So that'll be just kind of the way how we'll go about that. Now, granted, there will be cases and times where your characters are going to be crossing over and jumping between dungeon masters and all that stuff, but I mean, regardless, it's going to be just a case and scenario of you talking between the DM as a player or whatever, and saying like, hey, I would love for your character to be able to either to make a cameo appearance in this game. Can you make it to this session? Yes. Perfect. All right, well, I'll give you the details from there. No? Okay, well, hey, are you fine with me making your character an NPC? If you are, dope. Let me know everything I need to know, and then we'll go from there. B, you're not okay with me making them an NPC. All right, cool. They'll be taken by the Keeper. I'll just drop it, and maybe I'll just do something else for the time being. Or I'll hold it out. You know, I'll pull a little bit of DM magic. I'll collaborate with all the dungeon masters, and we'll make something work. Right? Again, a lot of the stuff and Project Aurora in the past that's really worked out. I know it's gonna sound stupid. Hear me out. I know it sounds dumb, but trust me when I say this. The number one reason and the number one way why a lot of Project Aurora stuff has worked in the past is simply because communication. Crazy, right? Hoodoo talking would be the one thing, and like collaborating, communicating, and talking with one another would be the one thing to solve world hunger, to be able to bring world peace and all that stuff, right? Insane. But yeah, talking to the basically communicating with between all the dungeon masters and more, and just all the bits of staff members to be able to, you know, make things happen is going to be heavily essential, which means our lines of communication is going to have to be not flawless, but it's going to have to be up to snuff, right? But yeah, hopefully that basically answers the question on how much time you're going to need to dedicate as a player and all that stuff.